blessed. Wake up thanking God, he showed me how to reinvest. All this stress, I was giving game to you peons from the gate. Use my own self as examples. I live raw and never hate.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Venting Thursday, and anybody knows I love these days because we get to listen to a Reddit story and see what we think about it afterwards. And this one is titled, "My Dad Ruined Possibly the Last Christmas I'll Ever Have with My Grandparents Due to His Obsession with Being in Control." Now, I find it interesting, so let's really figure it out and what they mean, and let's get to the bottom of it, all right?
My dad ruined possibly the last Christmas I'll ever have with my grandparents due to his obsession with being in control. My family have always had a tradition to visit my aunt, uncle and grandparents' dad's side, 88-yo and 92-yo on Boxing Day. We live 2 hours away and it is the only time that the whole family is together. My grandma always cooks us a buffet-style meal with small plates, foods like sausage rolls, cheese and desserts. As soon as we got into the house, my mom and I sat down and went to hand out presents, but my dad burst into the dining room, saw the food on the table, and immediately started an argument with my grandma for doing too much food. After this, my grandma went to the kitchen to finish cooking. She was preparing more fruit salad, pizza and chips, and my dad started another argument with her and told her to put that food away. My mom and I told my dad multiple times to leave it, but he didn't, and the amount of food my grandma was preparing was acceptable for 7 people. Then he came into the living room and announced to us, "This is ridiculous, she always does too much food," which made the atmosphere very tense. The biggest argument of the day was when my grandma was cooking something in the oven. She saw that it needed longer in the oven, so she came into the living room to open presents with us. While this was happening, my dad was pacing around the house and kitchen doing whatever. After the 5 minutes, my grandma went to check on the food in the oven, but my dad was there. He snapped at her saying, "Leave it, I've just checked it, leave it, sit down," in an unpleasant tone. In summary, my grandma was cooking and as soon as my dad arrived, he took control without her asking him. Whilst we were eating, my dad would not stop saying things like, "This is never ever happening again," and, "Next time I am making her do nothing." Not once did he thank her, he was complaining the entire evening. Throughout all of this, my grandma was just asking him if the food was okay. She seemed mostly unbothered, but I don't know if she actually was. Throughout the rest of the evening, my dad wouldn't stop saying, "This is never happening again, next time I am making her do nothing, this is ridiculous," when it really wasn't. He just wanted to be in control. This made the atmosphere very tense, and my dad barely sat down with the family. He was pacing around the house and kitchen, mostly complaining to my uncle about, "This is never happening again." TLDR, my dad ruined the Boxing Day meal with my grandparents due to him non-stop arguing with my grandma about her cooking too much food.
So, I can get where you're coming from, but we have to also be realistic. In your title, you said possibly the last, which means that however old you are, this person has spent more time with their parent than you have with them as your grandparent. And if they're noticing that they're at this age, they're at this stage, they start worrying about things that they never worried about before. You know, they start looking at there's a word for it, but they start looking at the weakness of their parents. They start noticing things like, man, they're slipping here. They're not as strong as they used to be. This superhero that raised them is now becoming a mortal in sense. You know what I mean? Because at times we forget, and then once we realize that they're getting to this age that they could possibly pass at any time, you want to overcompensate. Hey, sit down, I got it, don't do this, don't do this. Yes, they may not be able to verbalize it correctly, but the clear thing is, Mom, you shouldn't be cooking this much, we don't want you worrying about it. Not understanding that the reason she's cooking that much is because she wants to watch the family enjoy themselves. So it's a battle of wills in this particular case, because one is looking at the end of the line for someone in the sense of, I need to make sure she's straight because she's at the end of the line, where the other one's like, I'm at the end of the line, so I want to get these things done the way I want to see them done. And you know, death is always a funny thing depending on how you look at it. Some people look at it as the finality. Some people look at it as, this is just another path in the road. Some people look at it as, man, if I lose this person, there's nothing positive for me after that. Well, other people be like, good, they're resting and they're in a good place. It all depends on how you view life after someone passes. And a lot of people don't like saying goodbye. So they're going to try their best to control what they can in order, in hopes that they make it the best that they can in order to deal with what they're looking at. And because you're young, or you're not at that age yet, you can't comprehend what your father's going through. You're only seeing it from an aspect of him trying to control things. But this is this person's mother. You know what I mean? So there's no telling what's going through his mind. I've seen people do it. They're arguing and bickering with their parents, but they're old and they're wanting to hold on to as much time as they can with that person because they know it's the end of the line. So, you know, this is one of those things where they say, keep living. Just keep on living and you'll see. Because there may be a time your dad tries to do some things when he's older and you're going to argue with him. And then you'll sit there and be like, dang. Because the one thing about life and time is always going to show you what you thought you knew. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments section and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody. Peace.